Hey, all right. How are you doing? Good, I hope. Today we're talking about a multitude of things. Some of them about caffeine withdrawal, which I'm on day 5 of currently, which isn't the best time. It's horrible, in fact. So we'll talk a little about that. We're talking about some good things regarding clean air. That'll be nice for her. We're also talking about just a whole smorgasbord of goodness and beltiness. Hopefully the internet holds fast. I've been working on it hard this morning to get it to work properly. Fingers crossed. We won't have any mishaps like last time. What we did produce on the last show, put out in 2 sections on the audio, so you can go to the links in the description of the podcast to find them there as usual. Also, if you would like to support our work, go to patreon.com/cowdaily. That's patreon.com/cowdaily. If you want to make a one-off contribution to our work, links also in the description of PayPal. Thank you to everybody who's been doing that. Very much appreciated. Right. So somebody's popping up in the comments. Who is it? Joanne's in. Nice to see you. Glasgow's in. Nice to see you. Jojo, I'll read. How you doing? Nice to see you. Read. Do you want to? I know you do. Do you want some good news? Let's have it. Bing! From BBC.com. Air filters for London's polluted schools, says Mayor. Who is that mayor? That's right. Enemy of the far right, Sadiq Khan. It's got nothing to do with the colour of his skin, I'm sure. They would obviously confirm that for you. They would tell you that straight, and they're obviously straight shooters. Anyway, look at that wonderful picture. Hey, guys, maybe now our lives are about to be respected, and we're not going to have to breathe the deadly virus and bring it home for Granny, says image source Getty Images, I assure you. Air filters will be installed in London's most polluted schools as part of a pilot scheme, Sadiq Khan has said. The Mayor of London said PM 2.5 filters, for those who don't know, anything under parts per million, 2.5 is sucked off by these air filters. And that includes viruses like COVID, measles, etc. Gone, removed, killed with UV lights within the machines. Wonderful, one would say. And they're relatively cheap to fit. The Mayor of London said PM 2.5 filters would be fitted in 200 schools later this year. If deemed a success, there's enough evidence. Shut up. The filters could be installed in every classroom in London, City Hall said. Mr. Khan said, I want every single child to breathe clean air in and around their school. He added, in those vital early years, the difference to young people's health and well-being can be life-changing. Agreed. I'm agreeing with Sadiq Khan. Go on, Sadiq. The pilot is expected to cost 2.7 million and forms part of the Mayor's 2024-25 budget, which will be voted on by the London Assembly on Thursday. That's 2 days from now. The funding will pay for the filters and their maintenance, school engagement, education materials, and monitor the impact of the programme, City Hall said. Daniel Kabedi, he's from the Toon, big up yourself. General Secretary of the National Education Union said the pilot would be a massive benefit to pupils and staff in London schools. He called for the scheme to be taken up more widely across the country. Andrea Carnivale, founder of Chiswick Oasis, said in June 2019, we had the honour of giving Sadiq Khan a tour of our school. Tone it down, Andrea. St Mary's Catholic School in Chiswick, showcasing the remarkable impact of our newly installed air purifiers, which successfully reduced pollution levels by approximately 94%. To see how 200 schools will be able to follow. Hold on a minute. Is this just... No, he said in and outside, didn't he? He did. He definitely did. Outside, fantastic. If it doesn't come with inside, stick it, clean, up your hump. There's no point at all because you didn't want the dead and disabled bands. They need to be enjoying the outside air. Anyway, to see now 200 schools were built to follow in our footsteps and provide children with cleaner air to breathe brings immense joy as a parent and fills me with renewed optimism for our future. City Hall said the schools chosen for the pilot would be spread across London and selected based on pollution levels as well as the more deprived areas. I'm going back to the top here. Yes, he did. In and around their school. So that's inside too. What do you think of that? I'm buzzing. Also, I'd like to give a big shout out to absolutely everybody who's campaigned for this. There's a piece of you in this. And it's only being done because of the pressure or just the education as well being put in the direction of these people. So this is how shit gets done. You've all had a part in this by talking to people about it, just fucking putting the pressure on because that's how things are done. And I wish they weren't. I wish it was just here's a bag of evidence. No, you've got to shame people as well, sadly. Anyway, Joanne's saying that's a start. Sure is. Jacqueline's saying, of course they will tell us that whilst having their fingers crossed behind their backs. Why not all schools? Indeed. Why not all schools? But you know what they're doing? And Bridget Phillipson was trying to bat this off towards Lisa Diaz, who's a clean air campaigner, saying, oh, we've got to wait for the studies and all that. There's enough studies, right, which demonstrate really fucking clearly like the benefits of this. So, yes, I agree. Get them in now. But you know what? These people can be like, it's weird though, because they're like parents. It's mad that oh, I just gotta wait. Has your school got them like, what? Are you just dumb? Like, is your career worth more than your child's life and health? I don't understand what's going on. Hello, Leon. Nice to see you, pal. I hope you're doing well, well, kid. Leon says you can grow your own 10 to 100 part per million with moss for pennies. No good for cover, but generally air crud. Mint, that's a good dude. Send us more information on that, right? I'm going to come on to why later on. It's something that like my partner and I've decided to do, but that's something that I want to know more about. Moss. Also, Alice Wolf, big fan of the moss, loves it. Morning, Jez. Nice to see you, all kid. Jenny Schramm in the house. Nice to see you. Jacqueline saying, just to clarify, my last comment was about the far right, saying that their dislike of Sadiq Khan had nothing to do with skin color. Got you, mate. Nice one. Appreciate the clarification too. Leon saying, Mornall, good to be here. See you. Hands about at the minute, but trying. Or it's all you can do, mate. Just give 100% of what you've got to give every day. Sometimes that is, it's enough because that's all you've got to give. Rest yourself, mate. You've been through a lot recently. And I just now that you're supported and loved, mate, just fucking rest, man. Don't worry about it. Right. What else we got? Some of the slides. Read what we got here. Ursula Wolf Rocker. It can be overwhelming to witness and experience, take in all the injustice of the moment. The good news is that they're all connected. So if your little corner of work involves pulling at one of the threads, you're helping to unravel the whole damn cloth. And that's what this Clean Air campaign is, amongst many other things that we're trying to make a small or big or medium contribution to wherever we can. So I just wanted to then respect out the people who are doing their best under absolutely horrendous circumstances. And it is like, I mean, look at all the overlap and crises. And for to be switched on to them, you have to accept like all of the fucking negativity and trauma that comes with that. And I respect any one of yous who, let's face it, if you're listening to this, you're pretty much going to be one of them because, you know, who wants to hear this if they're committed to misunderstanding and or being in denial? Like, you know, I get it. I understand that. But the people who have decided to walk this path, because ultimately you're being proved right by the day, but that's not why it's being done. I feel like you're doing it because it's the right thing to do. And that's what keeps me here. Really? I just don't want to let you down. I'll try my very best. And so I was saying to Leon there, I'll give 100% of what I've got to give every day. That's my motto. Because I understood through like sort of long-term illness and whatever, that sometimes your 100% is not very much at all relatively, but that's enough because that's what you've got to give. Same way with this stuff. Like I had to take a couple of days break recently because my head was absolutely busted up. I will pivot into this actually. I'm back fully on the lemon balm tea. I hate caffeine, right? Like with a passion. And you know, it got bad when I pushed the caffeine button. And the reason I pushed the caffeine button was this. I was so traumatized, like as I spoke about openly before, seeing all the dead bands and that in Gaza and other places around the world. But you know, this was like in my lifetime, certainly. We used to talk about the Iraq wars, some kind of like, you know, wow, it's all on the telly, you know, in real time. But now it's like literally wild. So when that started to happen, I just wasn't sleeping. I was waking up in the middle of the night, like having bad dreams, and you know what trauma is. So what that meant was I pushed the coffee button after about 3 months of it because I just couldn't stay like awake. So basically, I was working like say 5 a.m. till 1, and then I'd have a bit of a kip, and then just powering it up with an inordinate amount of coffee. Well, it got to the point of diminishing returns last week, week before as well, and I started tapering a bit, but like last week was horrendous. So I got to Friday, and my partner's been away. She's back now, and decided to do the worst of it, like pretty much cold turkey. So Friday, it's a drug. At the end of the day, right? I'm telling you this. I used to work with people leaving rehab, like personal development work and things like that. Honestly, the way I'm feeling just mirrors like a lot of what people are saying when they're withdrawn from like coke and stuff like that. It's the same types of feelings, you know. I don't know if you know, but like caffeine withdrawal has been made a mental disorder on the DSM-5, which is like the American like sort of a compendium encyclopedia list of mental disorders. So I'm currently experiencing a mental disorder. This week, I mean, they say it lasts 2 to 9 days. I've done this before, and I know how hellish it is. You know, I posted something on my social media yesterday, and I was like reading and understanding, like, you know, people who said, "Oh, I've tried this and I just won't do it. I can't." And I was thinking at the time because I was in the middle of like grinding my teeth and just scratching myself up because it was that bad. And I was like, "You melt." But then I'm like, "Nah." Like, people have got so much going on in their life, and I'd put this off for a while because 'cause I've just got like, "I can't do it yet, I can't do it yet, I know how bad it is," and then you just do it. But a lot of people just can't, and that is a drug. So I looked into it, right, and 75% of the British population are having enough caffeine every day where they could be addicts, right? Like full on proper addicts. And I think it comes down to like, you know, talk about capitalism, right? Taking liquid speed all week just to like power your way through work. And then the whole culture around that. Do you want to brew? Do you want to brew? For some people, it's the only time they actually get to have a break and a breather when they're getting the kettle going. And then they're putting this stimulant in their system, working all the way through until the end of the day, crashing, having the worst part of their day on their free time. And then at the weekend, quite often, necking alcohol just to have some kind of like rebound effect from the week. And that's not good for your mental health. Certainly not good for your physical health. We know that. But your mental health will really suffer by that. Um, I mean, look, do what you want to do. I'm not certainly not here saying like I'm doing this, you should. But seriously, you know how bad it's like, watch for this because I'm going anywhere. If I'm drinking coffee, there's shit going on in my life, like in terms of like, you know, to the level it's affected me sleep because I will never, ever put caffeine across my lips otherwise. But sometimes you've just got to do life, haven't you? So I understand where people cannot escape kind of like style, and sometimes it's just what gets them through, like having to go into a bloody office and that, which you know, as I've seen with the clean air stuff, isn't a great idea. But the North and us shall rise again. Seriously though, I'm not doing well this week. It's a real addiction, like real life physical addiction on the DSM-5. It's a mental health disorder classified as. So know what we're doing. Seriously, anybody, if you want, get in touch, right? And I challenge you to do just a month without coffee. And you can taper it down leading into it, or like any caffeine, right? Do a month. I'm also doing sugar at the same time as well, right? Well, I was actually until last night. My partner came home, didn't know, and she brought a bar of chocolate. Once that's in the fridge, it's just game over. That's not lasting. So that got destroyed, but sometimes you need a bit. So, yes, no more caffeine. It's really bad, yeah. Anyway, something I want to point out, and it's annoying us, Peace and Justice Project, obviously Corbyn's thing, big up Corbyn and that and whatever, but they're sharing things from Labour Outlook, which is something linked to the Labour Party, where they want to work within the Labour Party to blah, 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 and whatever. And this is on, like, last year alone, 60% of the UK's grassroots music venues shut their doors permanently, despite nearly 24 million audience, blah, blah, blah. Great. Tremendous. But why this Labour Party shit? And I don't want to harp on it. I just wanted to mention it. It's annoying. Like, many of us worked really hard to support, and this feels like a smack in the teeth. And yeah, I won't harp on it though, because the big man gets enough hassle, doesn't he? And look, I love the guy, but at the same time, fuck this Labour Party shit. Something else. Eat the Rich Union. Check them out on Instagram. On one occasion, a handful of children, all about ages 5 to 8, were carried to the emergency room by their parents. All had single sniper shots to the head. These families were returning to their homes in Khan Yunis, about 2.5 miles away from the hospital, after Israeli tanks had withdrawn, but the snipers apparently stayed behind. None of these children survived. I've captioned this: if you're supporting this even tacitly, there's something wrong with you, and there is. I mean, a lot of these people who at the front end of this, like October, November time, who get on our social media as a sample of just generally across the internet, was like Hamas this, Hamas that. A lot of them seem to have went mad quiet. Funny that, isn't it? Maybe you've seen some of the things that we were saying. I don't know. Maybe you realizing that you are absolutely a ghoul. Maybe it's that. And as we've said many times, I don't care what the ideology is that's producing this. If your ideology produces dead kids, then you're just absolute fucking monster, like, and that includes our country. How many dead kids do you think our country's produced? Quite a fucking few. So this is why, like, people of a certain age, mine and older, were radicalized. Well, no, I'm not even radicalized, rationalized by the likes of Tony Blair and Mandelson and Campbell. So seeing them loading it around at the moment like they're some kind of great sages is just the ultimate in cringe. And I'm not doing it. And I don't think you should either, because dead bands is bad. Right? Something else is bad, right? I started trying to talk about this on Facebook, and this is what they do, right? I've promoted events for a while, as you know, right? So they brought this thing in where certain text, like, obviously if it had a date on and that kind of thing, would turn it into an event, and that then strangles the reach. But if you publish it as an original post, as you can see on the screen, if you're watching this, rather than the audio, it gives you the option to create event or publish original post. Nothing else. You can't put it out as a post in the sense of like it being a clean thing, because once you do it from here, you can check it. The reach goes even lower than it already is. Like, people like us and other people are being throttled to bits by these social media companies. On the left on the screen, that was me trying to post the original post. On the right on the screen, that was me trying to post a screen grab with an explanation, and it's still trying to create it into an event page. I mean, they'll try out. I mean, there's all kinds that, like, they'll do, but this is just one of them. And the reason I know that it throttles reach is because as an event promoter, they were always trying to, like, move you towards event pages so they can sell you ads for your event. Obviously, it throttles up the reach on that basis. So we also got demonetized in November as well for literally just speaking the truth about Palestine. And we're not going to fucking stop either. I've seen too many fucking dead bands and cop too much of a fucking coffee habit for this not to be used to just keep going. If we have to do 2 paper cups and a piece of fucking string, we're still doing it. I don't think these people fucking realize, like, we are emblematic of millions of people around the world who are just tired of this shit, man. And it's different from, like, the Iraq war protests and all of that. People are just so tired at this point. I'm just speaking, and I know I'm, like, mirroring the experiences of loads of people just like me and how yous are feeling. And we've got to keep going, got to keep fighting. Bad people rely on decent people being fatigued, because relative to them, there's not many of us, and we're not anywhere near as well resourced. It's a different universe. So a lot of us are doing this held together by blue tack and bits of string, but we're still here. This is from Simon Holland on Twitter. I don't know who he is, but I like this. A lot of people think things slow down and get boring as you get older, but we had two hummingbirds at the feed at the same time this morning. Still isn't exciting. I just think that's lovely, and one of the things that like gets me through all of this is like a connection with nature and just sitting. And what I've learned to do, like since like I've been unwell, is to just sit in nature. It used to be, and it was one of the reasons, like previous to like all the illnesses, I had a spinal surgery because I would do ultra marathons and just smash fuck out of nature and not even stop to look and smell the flowers, as they say. Um, and I've learned to do that, and a lot of it is like social conditioning about being a man on my own in nature, just sitting there, like feeling like a bit of a nonce and that, you know what I mean? And also like just cognizant of like how that is for women to encounter a lone male and that kind of stuff. I mean, strange enough, I was reading an article about a horrible case in Germany where two American backpackers were attacked by a lone man in the forest. I'll spare you the fucking details. So I try and remain mindful of that, you know, but at the same time, you know, it's a bit of a balance, and I'm not a nonce, so you've got it. But this is a thing, and I'm sure men will back me up on this. It's a real thing. Like it's a very real thing that we try and like be mindful of, and try and like you know, if I'm out hiking on my own, right, and I see a woman coming the other way, I'll go up the other trail and I'll get out the way. Same way in an urban environment, I'll cross the road at night and stuff. Just give people some space, man. Like the world is so messed up that like I don't see what else we can do. You know, even like being all like smiley and all right, and that's a bit weird, isn't it? It's kind of like anything can be a prelude. So anyway, my point is, my partner and I have decided that we're gonna do what we can to just be in the countryside, have a garden type allotmenty type thing, and just get a bit closer to nature, because it's that whole what sparks joy thing, isn't it? And for me, nature is a constant and it's not changed throughout all this mad stuff. The problems with the planet are not the planet and nature, it's us. It's human beings. Well, not us, but like people who look like us. And I need some form of escape from this. I realized this after this whole like push the coffee button thing. That's a real indicator for me that I wasn't doing very well. But I have a tendency to grit my teeth and just crack on. And that's pretty toxic. Like, so I'm looking to balance this. I might even like when I was thinking about doing just setting up a different channel, like not to talk about this, but not telling anybody. Just building it like as a kind of thing that like here's me walking about nature. Oh look, this is us doing my new house up. You know what I mean? Like this is the wreck we've bought. Just that kind of thing. So look out for that. You might see us pop up on something like that. I just feel like having a balance to balance this out is something that it's not just something that I want, I need it. If I'm going to continue to do this and build this, then I need to do that as well and just have something else like where I can sit and look at a couple of hummingbirds at the feeder and just be buzzing from excitement from that. I get that, man. I just love watching animals in the wild. It's great. One of the best moments of my life was seeing a pod of orcas like in the bay in front of our house in Shetland when we lived there. Still think about that, and it's like lush when they're going smashing in rich people's yachts as well. I just think like you're my pal. But anyway, what else we got? Yeah, update on the Crystal Fash. Remember that festival that Slipmat was on. So this is what happened. I'm in this like private group. It's anti-fascists against the cosmic right, and I've obviously anonymized this person. So it seems booking Katie Hopkins has backfired for Sounds Beautiful, and she has now been dropped from the event. Screenshot below of a post from festival director Wendy Jane. Let's see what Wendy's got to say. So we've actually listened to your concerns, and the bands in the festival consulted, and it looks very much like Katie Hopkins will be removed from the bill. They haven't confirmed it quite yet, very much. Not because she would be using the festival as a platform for hate speech. Oh no, perish the thought. That would never have been on the cards. I'm sure there would have been none, Wendy. But because we consulted the artists involved and none of us needs this negativity around a beautiful event headlined by Katie Hopkins' stand-up show. That's right, Wendy. If you want to know all about these people, go to the Crystal Fash previous episode from a couple of weeks ago. I don't need to do that again, but please go and have a look. And you'll know why this is just absolutely like mad. It's true, she has said things in the past that I personally do not want to defend, but yet you booked her, mug. But that was never the point. I am not her, nor am I giving her a platform for hate. Yes, you are. You do know we interview panels and questions and answers with people from many perspectives there. Like, we won't have the chance to do that now. Ah, shut up, man. Right, if you want to know why she's absolutely full of shite, feel free to go back to the last episode with this person on. Unbelievable, this mob, like. Do you think Slipmatt pulled rank? I'm sorry, I can't be slipping in with Slipmatt simply because Katie Hopkins is on. I wonder if Slipmatt's down with Hopkins. But you agreed to perform on the same bill, so did all the rest of these mugs. So they've talked to the artists, and then seems like a load of shite to me. Like, I think it's possibly because a lot of people have shouted up about it and lampooned them. Now they're looking like the mugs that they are. We're not the far right, but here's far right comedian and talking horse, Katie Hopkins. Shut up, man. Right. Let us see who's in the comments. Plenty is. Loads he is. Apologies if I don't get everybody. There's a load of yous boot. I'll try and. David Livingston, it's a brave thing you're doing talking about this respect. I don't know particularly what, David, but thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure. We might even be, actually, I hadn't spoken about this. We might even be passing your way in the summer. So thanks for, I don't think we'll camp on your land because we'll have somewhere to sleep, but we might pass through for a brew if that's all right. I think we're going in that direction. Mark Lungley, nice to see you. Don't get me started. Mental resilience training, they go into work. I bet, mate. Jacqueline Hemmond, your mental health disorder of drinking coffee might be a thing, but it's not as bad as the mental disorder of those who think it's okay to commit or be complicit in genocide. Oh, completely. I fully agree with you, mate. And also as well, I might not have made it clear that DSM-5, it's a temporary thing. Obviously, it goes away with the passing of the caffeine out the system. Right, who else is a boot? Jez is saying monsters. That could be for anybody, and I just thought I'd put it on the screen. Monsters. Mark Lungley, sugar's a drug. Don't get me started on it. You know more than most, my friend. I see the good work you do for diabetes awareness. Good for you, pal. Michael Dines, hello, is this on now? Can confirm. We're here. We're out here. Right, what is this? Glasgow for saying... Oh, God, get on the screen there, comment. Right, did you get invited to the Facebook bonus program? Earn money from reach and engagement, basically. Felt like I did, considering how much they throttle my reach. I didn't. I'm surprised you did. How did you get an invite? You're far spicier than me. Mad that. I did not. I'd be abundantly surprised if I get one, to be fair. But actually, I'm not going to say this bit. But ask us in the patrons forum after this. Right, I'll tell you something else. But yes. JB Fawn got demonetized for speaking the truth about Palestine as well. They can stick it. Like, I will literally eat Greg's pasties from the gutter if I have to. I won't, but like, you know, I'll talk about just this with my partner this morning. Ride or die, man. I cannot see the things that I've seen and shut up. I just can't. I'm not built like that. And I know a lot of yous aren't either, and it just makes me feel so much better. Right. Michael's saying, I love nature, going out with my camera. It's the greatest escape. Go to Michael's YouTube channel. He's posted some lovely videos on there, right? I shared a couple of them just before Christmas. Yeah, he goes out with his camera and takes pictures, and they're just nice music, and they're really chill us out. So all the stuff I was telling you about herons and all of that, nature. If you want a taste of it, go and support Michael and his channel. Really nice what he's doing there. Right. David saying, move to the country, mate. That's exactly what we're planning on doing, mate. Exactly. Jenny saying, good idea. Can't pour from an empty cup. Indeed. Jojo is saying, my Tai Chi class moved outside of the park during COVID restrictions. When they ended, we all voted to stay in the park, even in winter, because it makes such a difference being outside. I love that, man. Really, I absolutely think that's fantastic. Some updates on some really positive stuff that's not for public consumption in the patrons forum straight after this. So what we'll be doing is go off for a brew, come back. I'll post the link again in the patrons forum, but it's going to be the same link every time. We'll have a bit of a chat about it there. Mark McGee, Fashionbury. What a belter. That is class, man. That is class. Paul did slip my pull rank buckles. The thing is, he's an old school Don, yeah. Like that's the thing. He's old school royalty, Paul. So he's what he says goes. SMD4 is dead to me still. Right. Mark is saying, Mike, I'm getting loads of info of how COVID is tripping people without the genetic imbalance to cause type 1 diabetes. It's causing that imbalance in people who don't have it. Very true. And I've been reading about this myself recently. So if you want to get my heads together, please do. All about that. Glasgow saying, absolutely no idea, but apparently I can get a payout after £100. We'll see. Still feel as they want. I fucked everyone sent to pay for ads and shade. Interesting. Why have I not been invited to this? How disgusting. Probably because I've been fucking demonetized. Jacqueline saying, can anyone put a link to Michael's videos in the chat? Please do. Michael, stick as your latest one. I'll share it for you, mate. Really would appreciate that. Right, I'll see what we've got before we get off. COVID and Palestine are two different issues. Have you considered some of us are just anti-killing people? That's at Mercurial_Moons on your Twitter. That's one of the things that, like, when people start talking about, oh, we've got to unite the struggles and all of that, like, why is it stopping it? Like, COVID awareness and actually, because it is, like, let's be honest. I mean, we're literally jabbing the left, like jab, 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 constantly jabbing away at them to get things done. When, I think let's be cognizant of this. The left, or whatever that is, features human beings, and human beings are just the same in a lot of ways, in the sense of, like, they're tired of all of that COVID shit. But the problem with the left is they were going on about ableism, and rightly so, for the longest time before the pandemic started. It's ongoing, still happening. America's still in the second largest surge. Did you know about this? Probably not, and that's probably not your fault either. So that's the crack, isn't it? That's what we've got to do. These two things are not divisible because they're both killing people. And I know, like, Palestine, it's so very visual and immediate. And also, it's something that, like, and people might not like this, but I say a lot of things. It's something that the left traditionally can default into very easily. And that was a feature before the pandemic too. So in terms of that psychology, it's a very easy, like, cause to, like, the rules of that are already well established, aren't they? The campaigns are already in play. I think with COVID was the final straw for me, and whatever the so-called left is. It's about as much use as a fucking chocolate fire guard currently, and I'd very, very, very much like to see more done in terms of clean air, not just in schools, but everywhere. Because without, like, healthy people, none of this works, man. Like, I mean, even if you look at like numbers of bloody protests, they're going to drop off because people are just getting ill. Like, just because you like got the going and got the Palestine flag around you, it's not a fucking COVID force field. But you know what it is? An FFP2 mask and above. So I'm sick and tired of being sidelined by people, not like across the political spectrum on this. Like, do you realize that you're sidelining the people that you were supporting for the longest time? And I know I go on about this over and over, and get used to it, because it's not fucking ending until we've got the fucking things in all the schools and all the workplaces. Amazing news at the top of the show, in case you missed it, about like Sadiq Khan and 200 schools and clean air in and outside of those schools. Couldn't be happier. And as I said, every single person who's listening to this, who's played a part, who's just give a shit, who's talked to somebody, who's tried to word somebody up about this, that success in part is yours, because this is how it works. All boats rise with the tide, but you've got to start. You've got to do the work at the front end, where you're going to cop a few stray ones off people, aren't you? And I bet that's how Slipmat feels now. He never wanted Katie Hopkins, but the rank got pulled, and they Commandant Slipmat at the front end of the freedom fighter. They're basically like FARC, aren't they? But for the fash, they're the ones that FARC fought, who are trained by the CIA at the School of the Americas. Just drop that one in there anyway. Anyway, just before we go, yes, I finally killed my ego. Now I am better than everyone else. Right, I'm going to go back to coffee hell. Well, lack of coffee hell. And I will see you in the patrons drop in, probably about 10 minutes or so. I'm just going to be here. So looking forward to it. See you there. See what comes up this time. Bye-bye now.